I'm glad you straightened me out. And that's Mr. Dr. Isaac Bryant, Phyllis Wheatley, class of 1955. I know I got that right. All right. All right. Now, Dr. Bryant, that's why I couldn't get the first name, because I knew the last name was Bryant. Now, Dr. Bryant, was you raised up in Fifth Ward?
Yes, I indeed was. My family had moved to Houston from Montgomery, Texas. Okay. And of course, they were renting, and they had to move. And Dad said, well, I guess we can, it's hard finding a house out here, so maybe we can move to Third Ward. And my brothers and sisters rebelled and no, there's nowhere in the world we would go to Jack Yates.
Wow.
No way.
I mean, y'all was from Montgomery, Texas, and y'all already knew the rivalry between Jack Yates and Phyllis Wheatley.
Indeed, they did.
Wow.
Indeed, they did.
And when y'all came down here and from Montgomery, Texas,
that was my twin and I we were born in April, and the family moved in September of 1937, making my oldest sister graduate in the class of 37.
From Phyllis Wheatley?
From Phyllis Wheatley Senior High School, and I think
wow.
Miss Wheatley then was Dartharine Dale.
Okay.
The first Miss Wheatley was Wilma Rolligan Hogan, and she went on to become a Miss Prairie View as well.
Okay.
The first Wheatley valedictorian was Henrietta Bell, the late Henrietta Bell Wells, whose character, whose life rather, was portrayed in the Denzel Washington movie, The Great Debaters.
Oh, wow. And you know what? We did a thing on and it's already posted in YouTube, and we already have over 2,000 people that looked at that view on YouTube with Phyllis Wheatley starting from really only way I had it from 1949. I couldn't get the latest one back in the 30s, but I had from 1949 of Miss Phyllis Wheatley all the way to 1967, which was the last year of the segregation, and the first year of the integration was in 1968, and I stopped it in 1967, Dr. Brown, because at that time the white people had already the Interscholastic League had already took over. Well, in other words, the white integration had taken over, and all of our black history was really pushed aside, and it was never documented other than in the Purview League. You know, and very few people know about the Purview League, and that's why I do so much documentation on Phyllis Wheatley, because Phyllis Wheatley has a rich history. Just look at the wall that we did, you know, and so many people that's on the wall, and knowing that you part of the Wheatley alumni administration, the alumni administration that helped produce the wall and vote for people to be on the wall. Tell us something about that wall, Dr. Bryan, and how and whoever came up with the idea of a wall like we have over there in right there off of Lyons Avenue and 59, right there between Lyons Avenue and Jensen.
I don't know exactly whose idea it was, but one of the workers, one of the strong people who support that is Dr. Etta Francis Walker of the class of 61, who is the daughter of the late Franklin Pierce Walker, and the valedictorian of that class of 61. In your early discussion, you mentioned the class of 1949. That class of 1940, the Miss Wheatley of that class was Minnie Mae Ryan Roy, who was married to the coach of Worthing, Benny Roy. Right. And then I think you mentioned 1967. Miss Wheatley in 1967 was Alice Verinda McLeod, and I think you said 1968. 1968 was Ruth Marie Hoskins.
We mentioned this, and another thing too, Dr. Brown, that and I had mentioned once before about Coach Colin Briggs, and what no other coach in high school history have got 14 state title championship other than Coach Colin Briggs. And when you look it up, and that's why we do so much of this, because you don't see his name Google up when it comes to Wheatley basketball. If you Google up mostly Wheatley basketball, all you're gonna see is Jackie Carr. And that's why we give all the credit on YouTube to Coach Colin Briggs, because Coach Colin Briggs, one time he coached Jackie Carr. Is that right?
Yes, he did.
And this is another thing that I knew you thought I didn't know, but I found out that Tex Harrison's mother also.
Eulia Walker Harrison.
Okay, now her son was also Tex Harrison, who played with the Harlem Globetrotters, who went to Phyllis Wheatley.
Class of 50.
Class of 1950. And I got, I got to spend a special shout out to my friend Dad, and that's Dr. Caldwell Jr. He was also a captain on the Phyllis Wheatley basketball team of 1951.
Class of 50.
The class of 1950.
He was
the captain of the basketball team.
Yes, he was the most scholarly boy of that class. In 1950, a Dr. Ewart Magruder initiated an award, an inaugural award to the most scholarly athlete. That was begun in 1950, and the first recipient of the Magruder Award was John Elihu Caldwell, Jr. And that award went on for, I think it went on for 5 years. The first winner, I said, was John Elihu Caldwell, Jr. The second one was Roy Crawford in 1951.
Now let me ask
1952.
You this. Let me ask. I'm going to cut you out, but now, when you say John E. Caldwell, Jr., was that Dr. Caldwell's son?
Yes, it is.
Who was the principal of Wheatley at the time?
Exactly.
Okay, now, is it also that he also got to be one of the first blacks to be in the basketball team of the University of Michigan Wolverine?
That's right.
Oh, man, this is amazing.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And his father, before him, was one of the blacks to go to Michigan.
Yes.
Wolverines out there in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yes.
Oh man,
Dr. Caldwell was a Harvard alumnus, and he got his master's and doctorate from the University of Michigan.
And that's Dr. Caldwell, the principal, senior.
Dr. Caldwell, senior.
Okay. Now, you were saying about the 52 Wheatley basketball, because in 1950, this is what got my attention when I was putting this video together. Because in 1950, from 1950 to 1960, 10 years and a decade, Phyllis Wheatley won 8 state titles. You hear me? 8 state titles. I didn't say they went to the state, they won. Out of 10 years in 1950, from 1950 to 1959, or to 1960, Phyllis Wheatley won 8 state titles basketball team with Coach Colin Briggs.
That's right.
That's strong.
No other school can boast.
No other school can vote for it. Can boast on that. No other coach can boast on having 14 state championship basketball trophies in their school. 4900 Market Street, other than Phyllis Wheatley.
Now 4901 Providence.
Now 4901 Providence, but the trophies was won at 4900 Market Street. That's where they were won at. But now today we know it is 4901 Providence. But back in your day, and my day, we knew it as 4900 Market. And when you started, it was what? On Lyons Avenue?
Lyons Avenue and Gregg. I think it's 3415 Gregg Street.
Wow. And that is amazing, man, to be here. And that's why we are so privileged and so thankful to have Dr. Brian not only here to tell us how it really happened, because he lived it, so he know it, and be able to take his time out to pass this message on to all the Wheatley alumni. Not only Wheatley alumni, but all the people on the north side. This ain't just all about Wheatley. It's about the beginning of Cashmere. They are a offspring of Phyllis Wheatley. It is the beginning of Forest Brook, offspring of Phyllis Wheatley. It is a offspring of Fidelity Manor, offspring of Phyllis Wheatley. And we're not talking about Booker T. Washington out there in Studewood, because half of them was an offspring of Phyllis Wheatley. So, purple and white. What you say the purple is?
Royal purple and white.
That's all I got to say. Phyllis Wheatley, be proud of your school. No matter what HISD and the trustees, what the future holds for Wheatley, the history that Phyllis Wheatley have laid down for 91 years, from 1927 up until today, 2018, can never be erased. No matter what whites. And now since Phyllis Wheatley is going through some times right now, Dr. Bryant, yeah, 2013. So you're looking at now, looking at 15 years. And now since Phyllis Wheatley on TEA, the future of Wheatley stands in the hands of TEA, and also the future of Cashmere stands in the hands of TEA. Then you being alumni for as ever since you got out of school, and that's 62 years, 63 years. That's a blessing.
Indeed it is.
That's a blessing, Houston.
A proud alumnus.
A proud. You hear what I'm saying? A proud, because he know how far this school had to come. He was going to Wheatley when black people couldn't even go in down Lyons Avenue unless they were going to Wheatley. Am I right or wrong?
That's right. You're definitely right.
He was around when they was just beginning to put up Kelly Court. Kelly Court wasn't that old when you came up, was it?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was in the 40s.
And now, here it is. He's here today, sharing all of the history that God have blessed him with. And we are so proud and so thankful for all of you Wheatley alumni. And not only Wheatley alumni, for all the black schools. Because see, right now, it ain't about Wheatley. It ain't about Worthing. It ain't about Jack Yates. It ain't about Cashmere. It ain't about Worthing. It's about all of our original black schools. Because a lot of people don't understand. Madison is not a black school. That's a white man's school. They gave it to black when they integrated. Sterling and Jones, they're not a black school. They built them schools for white folks. We just took over the schools when integration came in. So we want to get the record straight. The three original black schools when Dr. Bryan graduated was Yates, Phyllis Wheatley, and Booker T. Washington. Right?
Washington was the oldest, is the oldest. Jack Yates was in 1926 and Wheatley in 1927.
Now y'all done seen me posted all that stuff on Facebook. And this man is here. God has blessed us to have this man here to verify this. Because, hey, I wasn't born. I wasn't even thought of it. I'm just be straight up with you. A lot of things I posted, I didn't know about this stuff. I had to go and ask older people like Dr. Bryan had been there. That's why when people Google up some of the stuff I say, they say, man, he on money. Because I'm not finna put nothing on YouTube, on Facebook, that's not real. I don't go by hearsay. I go by people who lived it. And I just want to thank Dr. Bryan. This is just the beginning of some of the history of Phyllis Wheatley and how far Phyllis Wheatley have came along since 1927 to what he at now in 2018, and in the hands of TEA.